Hello and welcome to my first of many music videos where today I'm going to very quickly explain how you can create your own music for your YouTube videos and your streams. I'm Mysteryman45 and my goal today is to show you how, by using GarageBand for your Apple device, you can create very simple pieces of music like an ambient track for your YouTube videos and streams. One that is free of copyright because, well, it's your own creation. If you have an Android device, do not worry, there is an app called BandLab, which is available on the Google Play Store, which is basically like GarageBand, only with a different style. Both can be used for the creation of music, and I'll show a video of what that looks like further down the road, but right now, let's get into it. So let's start off with some very basic music theory. Music is built of three main components. You have rhythm, harmony, and melody. Words you've probably heard before, and it's these components which create the foundation of all music. Rhythm mostly refers to the groove of the song, created generally by the drums and bass. Harmonies, which are a series of notes played together, and melody, which you can think of as the voice for the song. For this video, I'm only going to be focusing on rhythm and harmonies, but I'm more than happy to talk about melody in a future video. To get us started, let's now have a quick look around GarageBand. To start you off, I'm going to hit the Create New button, which will take me to this screen. You also have quite a large selection of various keyboards and synths at your disposal. Pretty bloody cool. But to get our music started, I'm going to start with the rhythm or the pulse of the song. So let's hit the drummer. Now, one of the most amazing features of GarageBand is right here. This instrument features a series of live recorded drummers which can play just about anything and can be used to create very simple but awesome drum lines to your music without you even breaking a sweat. So let's start off with this. Now, on the left, we have this little circle which you can use to make the drummer play louder, softer, a complex pattern, or a simple one. And this area on the right, where I'm moving the number back and forth, is how the drummer plays the various pieces of the drum kit based off your selection on the left. So if we hit play at the top of the screen, we'll get our drum pattern. Okay. Sounds good so far. So why don't we make it a bit louder? There we go. Now we're cooking. Now we're making some music. Nice. Okay. Now I'm going to vary the kick and snare by dragging this number 5 here where the kick and snare is on the right. Let's do a simple kick and snare like this. Nice. Now I'm not really liking the fills, so I'm just going to lower the amount of fills that are in the song. So now he's only playing a straight pattern until the very end where he drops a nice, cool, groovy fill. Nice. Yeah, that sounds good. I'm happy with that. So, as you can see, this is a very, very powerful instrument, and the possibilities are endless. One thing to note as well is that you can change the drummer by tapping the little portrait, like so. And so, instead of having a rock drummer, you can have an electronic drummer as you scroll around. Hip hop, electronic, you name it. So in other words, you now have access to a sound library, and all these drummers create different sounding effects. So based on what music you want to make, like a hip hop song or maybe something a bit more relaxed or a rock song, you can find what you need in this section right here. But for now though, I'm going to stick with Kyle and this pattern that I've just whipped up. To exit out of an instrument, at the top, there is a little button with an arranged set of lines. Tap it and you'll bring it to this screen. This is your edit window, and everything you record and perform will appear here, like the drummer we just set up. You might be thinking, okay, that's all good and all, but how do I change the tempo? Or how do I change any part of my song? Well, if you see on the top right, you'll see this little wrench. By tapping the wrench, you access the settings for your project, where you can change various other features, tempo, the time signature, which changes the way the music is played, and most importantly, our key signature, also known as a scale in Western music, determines what notes we can use, which will very nicely harmonize together. I won't go into too much more detail, as we'll run out of time, but if you folks would like to learn more, I can create another video and we'll link it here, or you can use the power of the internet to learn everything you need. I'll leave some links in the description about other YouTube channels and some online web pages where you can get more info about various topics that I talk about in this video. What a crazy world we live in. Anyway, for this project, I will be changing the tempo from 110, and I'm going to make this a very nice 1, 2, 3 BPM, or beats per minute. Now, if we tap out of the settings, it will take us back to our edit screen. And the great thing about GarageBand is even though we changed the tempo after we had recorded our drum track, the application has already updated the positioning of the notes. So now the notes perfectly line up with our brand new tempo. Now that's bloody handy. Awesome. Now let's tap the little screen icon at the top right next to the My Songs text. Tapping that will bring us where we can add in our other instruments. So in this case, we're going to go and find the bass and tap it in there. Okay. And so the first thing you'll see is all these notes. And by tapping the strings, you can play those notes. Pretty cool. This section is known as the chords section. Whereas for more experienced bass players, you can tap on the notes section and actually play individual notes with a very nice bend function. Extra human fidelity. For the sake of this video, and possibly what you will mostly stick towards, you'll probably stick to the chords section because this is just focusing on different areas of the fretboard and the 4 strings. Now, to create this bass line, I'm going to show off a very cool feature. So above the B flat, which you can see, there is a button that says autoplay. Neat. And I think you can probably see where this is going. By tapping a number and then tapping a note, our bass auto plays. Now that's cool. And then by tapping a different number, we'll get a different groove. Yeah, I like that one. Okay. Well, let's record it. You can see the universal red circle. You know what that is. Tap it and the song will start recording. Tap a note and watch it play. Yeah, nice. Now we're cooking. Let's go back to our edit window by tapping the little squares. Nice. Very nice. Okay, so now as you can see, I recorded a guitar part and I did it exactly the same way as I recorded the bass. You tap the instruments icon, tap guitar, and if you tap the picture, you can change the guitar tone. So of course, you can vary up the sound of your music. Now, another cool feature that GarageBand offers is that when you tap a track, like so, you can edit. And as you can see, if we zoom out a little bit, you can see all of the notes that were just played by your autoplay. By tapping the left side of the note and dragging, you will reposition the note. Holding the right side will actually increase the length of the note. And lastly, you can tap the note and hit the velocity and change how loud the note is. So you can make it softer or louder. The option is yours. And of course, as another bonus feature as well, if you tap this little pencil and drag it to the right, you can actually draw notes in. Awesome, right? Once you're done, you just tap the done button and it'll take you back to your edit screen. Now, a thing to note is that you can only edit tracks that are green, which is MIDI data. You cannot alter audio tracks, which we'll cover in a second, because they're audio tracks and it's a lot harder to manipulate specific sound samples. Now that we have our instruments, let's do some mixing. So if you drag at the instruments column on the left, you'll see volume meters. Now, mixing in music works exactly the same way as it does when you're audio balancing your YouTube videos. You aim for an overall balance of your audio, making sure nothing is peaking to keep it clean from digital distortion. I'm currently in the works of explaining audio theory in better detail, so keep an eye on my Twitter for more updates as they come to air. But getting back to our project, we can now balance our music. We can solo instruments by tapping the headphones button, like so, or we can mute them by tapping the little speaker button. You can also hear the fantastic notes that I added into the guitar track. There they are. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, well, let's do a quick little balance. So let's play the song all together. So the bass is a bit loud, so let's turn him down a bit. And then the guitar's a bit loud, so we can turn him down a bit. Yeah, that sounds good. Lovely. So now that's our mix. Now, obviously, when you have more instruments, you'll do some more harder balancing and mixing. So very crucial. The rule of thumb when it comes to mixing is to just make sure that you can just about hear every instrument. Don't let one instrument be overpowering. A good technique, and something that I learned, is when you're mixing, if you're happy with the way things sound, lower the volume right down. Because anything that's loud and sticks out, you will easily notice when the volume is set really low. Basically means when you turn it back up to your standard 0 dB, you can actually know, oh, okay, my guitar was a bit loud when I played it on the low volume, so I'll lower the guitar down just a tad. And you'll find that you will easily help balance your mixes. A nice balanced mix makes everybody happy. And another feature as part of this mixing as well is if you tap this little lines here with a couple of faders, you actually open up the track settings where you can do track panning, alter basic EQ settings like the treble and bass, and add effects like echo or reverb. So you've got a whole assortment of tools which you can play around with. So if you don't really like the sound of an instrument, you can come into this setting and change it up, make it sound better. Okay, so the last feature that I will go over in this video can be found by tapping the loop icon at the top right of the screen, which will open the Apple Loops section. Here we have access to a library of pre-recorded audio tracks which can be added straight into your current session. By tapping in the box and searching whatever you like, in this case for me, strings, you can access all of the recorded loops based off your search. You can create some pretty awesome stuff by including loops in your music and by using effects to really show off your musical talent. How neat is that? Okay, so what does the diesel power string sound like? Ooh, okay. Nice. Okay, I like this diesel power string, so very simply, tap and drag into your session and boom, there you go. Now remember what I mentioned before? You can only edit green tracks. This is what I was talking about. So now blue tracks are audio files. So these are tracks that you cannot edit using the edit function, unlike you can with these green ones. Just take note. So now we play back our music. Can't say it sounds great, but it's a song nonetheless. Well, there you go. And well, basically, that's it. That's the basics to using GarageBand. So basically, you know how to navigate your way around, how to add instruments, add Apple loops, and go a bit crazy. I've only scratched the surface with what GarageBand can do. You can create some truly magnificent pieces of music, which you can use anywhere. And the best part is, when you make it, it's yours. Yours, owned by copyright, so you don't have to worry about getting royalty-free music for your YouTube videos. You can just go bang, create your own music, easy peasy. And so now that pretty much wraps up this video. So get digging in and just start making music, best way to go about learning. So please, have a great day. And this has been Mysteryman45 and you know what to do. Subscribe, like, wink, wink. So under the spanner, you can only alter the project settings. However, if you hit this little plus right on where the bars are, you can actually add sections. And this is how you increase the length of a certain section or add in new sections. So if you want to add in a new section, you just tap add. And if you tap the little I next to the section or next to the bars, you can determine and tell GarageBand how long you want your section to be. So we can make this 32 bars. And then when we tap back out, it will create a section 32 bars long. And so naturally, as you make a song, you'll break them up into sections, 8 bars or how many bars you want each. And then that way, when you've got all of your bars lined up like so, you can easily navigate between section A, section B, section C, section D, or section E. So this can be your intro, verse, chorus, something like that. And then once you do tap a section, you can tap out and it will take you back there, and then you can listen to only that section. And it's a very handy feature. And if you want to listen to all of your sections together, just tap the All Sections button and GarageBand will play your song from start to finish. It's very important not to fall into the trap of when you are working in sections to make sure that every section flows nicely between cuts. End of section A should flow nicely into section B, And the best way to do that is to listen to the whole song in its entirety, and then any bits that sound weird between transitions, you will know to go in there and fix up those sections. So if you want to listen to your music from start to finish without having to go, fuck off, who's honking? Okay. If you want to listen to your song from start to finish, you just tap the all sections option, and then that will load up the entire session or your section. Will load up your entire session. So that way you can start a song from so that way you can play a song from start to finish, and you can see exactly how the song flows between sections.